Good morning, beloveds. You all are chatty this morning. Good morning and welcome. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to my beloveds on the stream. I'm so grateful y'all are with us today. All right, I've seen some cute little costumey things this morning and cute masks. Oh, look at that. Very precious. Very precious. It is so wonderful to see you all this morning. Let's start with just a few logistical announcements. We are masked and distanced, etc. Bathrooms this way for those of you who are new to us. We will be keeping fans running, doors open. That's how we roll these days. All right. I would also, what do I want to remind you about? Oh my goodness, next week is going to be a party up in here. And for my beloveds on stream, we will make sure you guys get to be a part of that party as well. Melissa and Z are here. They are New Thought ministers and musicians, really, really fun stuff. And they will be working with me next week to create a musical journey to kick off our Celebrating Oneness series that begins next week and will take us through the end of the year. And it's going to be a good time. You want to be here for that. All right. Let us welcome up to the platform. Let's make sure you're on camera. Come up in front of me. Yeah. Come closer. Come closer. Thank you, Krista. Let's have Krista open us in prayer.
So God is all. God is all there is. And in that knowing, we can center ourselves in the quietness within to experience the true freedom. The freedom comes from inside, not what's going on outside. And when we take the time and we know this and we close our eyes and we breathe into that freedom, we breathe into that space, into that light, into that knowing, and we can feel the love that we have and we can feel the freedom. And I am so grateful that I get to practice this daily, to remember who I am and trust the love of the source of God. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Let's just take that prayer a little deeper. And I want to invite all of you who may have arrived today with something heavy on your heart. I invite those of you online to do the same, to just bring that prayer more forward by taking your prayer over to the candle altar where you can light a candle for that prayer. For those of you on the stream, I invite you to light a candle at home, type your prayer into the comments chat so that we can hold you in prayer as a community. Get a little music. I'd like to invite anyone who would like to bring their prayer up to the microphone so that we can even more deeply hold you in prayer. This would be a great time for you to come on up and share it with the community. Oh, Witchy Joanna.
Must be the season of the witch. I am grateful for healing, for my body, for my family, and I'm grateful for the fun of Halloween.
So it is. Yeah, and Alex has prayer cards for anybody who would like to write a prayer request that will go to the practitioners and myself throughout the week. Just raise your hand and Alex will bring you a prayer card. Go ahead, Ari.
Thank you. I have good news. Push is doing a lot better. Yeah, he's been walking around the apartment and he's dizzy. He was walking like he was drunk for a while from the dizziness. It was really awful. But he looks like himself. His coloring is better. He said he's feeling much stronger and he's definitely on the mend. And I want to thank you all for your prayers because we really needed them and they really are working. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ari.
I would like your help in understanding my fears a lot better so I can get past them.
So it is. All right. Anybody else like to bring their prayer forward? All right, well, you guys, let's just take all these prayers into our heart space, knowing that every prayer, spoken, unspoken, written, unwritten, candle lit, candle not lit, every prayer is already met in the mind and the heart of God. And know that truth with me as we anchor it with a singing bowl. So it is. Oh. So have you had the mornings where you wake up and you're just like, oh, and your thoughts are spacious, your body is settled. You know those mornings that I'm talking about? You just sort of wake to the day and it's just quiet and glorious. And then there's the mornings that does not happen. The mornings where you immediately wake up and your eyes pop open and it's with all the things. And I've been pondering as we've been moving through this practical spirituality series, like, why, right? Why some mornings, before you've had a chance to even stub your toe, rub your eyes, there's one experience or another. And I really think at the end of the day, it comes down to spiritual living. It comes down to this very practical, applied principle that we actually bring to life with how we live. And it sometimes looks like a really solid meditation practice. It sometimes looks like morning and evening prayers. It sometimes looks like coming to a service or a gathering like this. It sometimes looks like a walk in the park. It sometimes looks like time with your beloveds. And what I've come to recognize that it's not super helpful as a minister because the truth is I preach the same sermon every week. Because at the end of the day, what it ends up distilling down to is the same practice, whatever it may look like, of bringing ourselves more in alignment with the truth of who we are. I wanted to share from the World Wisdom Bible. Imagine meeting three people, one of whom cultivates inner peace even in times of strife, one of whom cultivates inner gratitude even in times of suffering, and one of whom cultivates inner clarity even in times of distraction. Now, know that you have met three people doing the same spiritual work. So I want you to think about that as we wrap up this Practical Spirituality series. The one who's practicing peace in time of discord, the one who's practicing gratitude in times of suffering, the one who's practicing wisdom in times of confusion, the one who's practicing spiritual principle in their bodies for health reasons, the one who's practicing spiritual principle in their relationship, the one who's practicing spiritual principle in their search for greater purpose or vocation, the one who's practicing spiritual principle for the purpose of greater financial abundance. It is all the same spiritual work. It is all what brings us into alignment with the truth of who we are. So whether we are doing that in this area of our life or that area of our life or for this purpose or that reason, it's all spiritual living. But I think one of the things that I really want you to know as we wrap up this series is practical spirituality, lived spirituality, is not practical in the sense that we get a wrench and go fix our relationship life. We get a screwdriver and go fix our finances. Practical spirituality is about the inner work that will naturally manifest in circumstances that are lovely. And if one thing I want you to take away from this series is that it's an inside job and it's a full-time gig. And when we can really begin to abide in the truth of who we are and live inside out, the circumstances that we want to be different and better will respond to that abiding. But when we get ourselves twisted up and we believe that by fixing the outer circumstances, we will have a more spiritual experience, a more peaceful experience, a more joyous experience, a more divine experience, we will shoot ourselves in the foot every time. And it's a paradigm shift, this spiritual living. It's not just like a cute name on the front of the building, Centers for Spiritual Living. It is truly determining that you are a life of the one. That you are here on purpose, that you've been divinely appointed to breathe the breath that you are breathing, and that your life, your very life, every step, every moment, every breath, every minute, every misstep is the life of the one. There is no other truth. And I know sometimes we just like, can you just give me a toolbox with the tools? Please just give me the toolbox. I'll take it from here. Can you just give me the 10 steps to freedom? Or the 5 steps to a greater number of zeros in my bank account? And the truth is nobody can. even though there's a multi-billion-dollar industry that says otherwise. The freedom that each of us is looking for, whether we are looking to be free in our day-to-day life, whether we are looking to be free in our finances, looking to be more free in our relationships, looking to be more free to show up as the authentic self that we want to show up as. Every single one of those answers lives in here. Every single one. And when we allow ourselves to just put down all the fixing, to put down the toolbox for a minute, because I'm a fan of tools. I love all the tools. I love playing with all the practices. And it's not about not doing that or not using your tools, but it's like we walk around with toolboxes, like on the ready. Ooh, it's broken. Hurry. I feel crappy. Get the tools. My partner's being a jerk face. Get the tools. Put it down. Put it down. And take a moment to come back to the one power, the one capacity that meets all circumstances with whatever is needed, because you are the life of God. There is never a brokenness that can undo that. There is never a circumstance, there is never a misstep that can undo that. And I think we need to just take off the fixed glasses, take off the broken glasses, and put on, I am a living emanation of the one glasses. And just start there. So I want to have you for a moment entertain this idea. So if you're willing, just close your eyes and repeat with me in your own mind, I am a living emanation of the one. I am. And repeat that a few times to yourself. And notice how that feels. I am a living emanation of the one. I am. And as you let that resonate in your very being, I want you to also notice that every set of circumstances in your life and life itself has gotten nothing on that truth. Faith is opening, accepting, and responding to ultimate reality. Faith, in this sense, precedes every belief system. So as you were having this experience of aligning yourself with the truth of who you are, were you able to open to that truth? Were you able to accept that reality. Faith is not about the all is well outside of us. I get questions about that a lot. If all is well, if God is all good, then why this circumstance? Then why that condition? Why that whole group of people? But faith is not about an external God. Faith is about the acceptance of the greater reality that God is all there is, and you are an emanation of that isness, of that allness. And being able to accept and embody that truth. That's what faith is actually about. It is not faith in a superhero God swooping in, making it better. It is the faith that I believe in the one life. And because I believe in the one life, I must believe that that oneness is present here in me and that I have access to it. I have conscious access to the mind of God. I mean, think about that for a minute. As you are opening yourself up to this greater reality, this divine nature that is right where you are. If I have access to the mind of God, if God's mind is in my mind, living itself right now through my thoughts, how could I possibly be confused about some circumstances out here? How could I possibly be confused about what's the next right step to take? And when we find ourselves in confusion, when we find ourselves having the experience of less than, and we can have the experience of less than in pretty much every area of our life. Are we all on the same page about that? Okay. If we are having the experience of less than, we are not in faith. The two cannot be happening at the same time. Because it's not about faith in some external superhero God flying in and making it better. It's about the faith that God is right where I am. Having faith and accepting this as true in my own experience. So it's not just, that's a great idea and I'm into it. But like, whoa, my mind is a perfect and unique expression of God's mind. And when I have absolute faith that that is so, everything out here is handled. 100%. But when we let the stuff out here get in our heads, get in our hearts, and trick our belief, our faith in what is so, now we are living with outside determining the inside. And we lose the power and the presence of the one. We lose access to the wisdom, to the peace, to the gratitude. And it has nothing to do with the circumstances. It has everything to do with our faith in who and what we are. And if you're anything like me in my journey, the struggle with faith was not a theological struggle. It wasn't like, who do I believe? Which book do I believe? Who do I go to for belief? The fundamental struggle was, can I have faith in a God that lives in me? Can I have faith in my divinity? Can I have absolute trust that the impulses and ideas that rise in my being are divine? That faith is how we experience freedom. I'm just so delighted to see Mickey and Tony in the room. Everybody see Mickey and Tony in the room? And the boys. But their story is a really beautiful example of what I'm talking about. The faith they had in themselves to follow that divine impulse that some might have said is a little bit cray-cray. We're going to pack up our little ones and go live in an RV for 6 months. We're going to figure out work from the road, and we're just going to jump and go. But that impulse, that desire that rose in their beings was one that they gave credit to, that they had faith in, yet that yes, this idea is divinely appointed and makes no difference how anybody out here feels about it. Makes no difference how my body may respond with fear as I take that holy step. And when we allow ourselves to live inside out, we have all the capacity, we have all the power to meet whatever condition and circumstance. One we can anticipate and all the ones we can't. With all that we need, because God is here. And that's when our life turns into that incredible adventure that we sometimes just feel like is beyond our reach. That's when our relationships suddenly become juicy and full of expressed love. That's when those incredible creative ideas that lead to greater abundance rise in our own minds. That is how the world that works for everyone comes into being. Because we show up as the divine creatures that we are. We bring to life this God. I feel like somebody's having a dance party behind me. But it's quite simple in the logic. We are having a dance party. We are. Anybody else? Am I the only one hearing it? If you can't hear it online, y'all, there's a little music happening in the background here. Practical spirituality is quite simple. We can have background music. I have no problem with that. But I think we get wrapped up in practical spirituality. I even got wrapped up in preparing this series because I get so many questions about, how do I fix this part of my life? What prayer should I pray to bring in love? What class should I take to change my health status? And I understand the questions, but I think we need to ask better questions. I think we need to ask questions like, who am I really? What am I? What do I belong to? There's been a lot of questions of late around belonging, right? The isolation of COVID, the absolute disruption in all the social justice avenues and areas of the world. And we look for this belonging out here. Do I belong to that party or do I belong to this party? Do I belong to that community, even though I don't really want to use my non-isolated time to hang out with them? But there's a better belonging question. Do I belong to my true nature? Do I belong to myself? Have I discovered belonging in my divinity? Have I so fully accepted the truth of who I am, the truth of what I am as a divine emanation of the One, that the only belonging I need is to belong to myself, to belong to my true nature? And that belonging allows me to move anywhere in the world ever as I wish. It's a paradigm shift, this spiritual living. It's not about how many tools you have in your toolbox, how long you've been practicing, how many classes you've taken, how many sacred texts you've read. It's about turning our attention to the one place we can discover and embody truth. And it's in here. And then giving ourselves the full faith in that divine authority that's in here. And being like, you know what? That might be a crazy impulse that's rising in me, but I have such faith in who and what I am that I'm doing it. I am taking that next step. I might be terrified of the idea that is rising in me, but because I have absolute faith in the truth of who I am, I'm going with it. These are the folks who are the ones that we look up to, all those civil rights activists, all those incredible creative geniuses, all the inventors, all the great thinkers, all the technology and evolution that has happened in society. All of those things have risen in the mind of a human. All of the ways we want to see the world get better, all of the ways we want to see our own lives get better, all of the ways we want to see our neighbors' lives get better, our beloveds' lives get better, will rise in your mind. And it is entirely on us to take that action. So now that we have fully accepted the truth of who we are, and we are 100% in faith about who and what that is, I'm going to ask you to go within one more time. Just close your eyes if you're comfortable. And I want you to become aware of an impulse, of an idea that is rising in you right now. And as that impulse or idea rises in your being, I want you to ask yourself, can I follow this? Can I allow this idea or this impulse to lead me in action? And what is the next action you will take in honor of this idea and impulse? And as you find your words around this, I want you to turn to somebody near you and share that action out loud as a declaration. Turn and share, turn and share. And if you're far away from somebody, I invite you to stand up and find somebody. Those of you online, I invite you to type it in the comments feed. If you're watching by yourself, type it in the comments so you can declare this next right step. All right, we'll take another minute or so. And if you have not had an opportunity to say yours out loud, make sure you do. All right, what brave souls are going to come declare their next right step on the microphone? Come on up. Let's hear some love and action.
I have been wanting to play a harmonium for many years, and I keep coming up with excuses, or have been, about why I can't do that. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to look into finding one. The money will be there, or it'll show up in the way it's meant to, but I'm ready, and I'm going to go out and investigate finding one instead of just thinking about it.
All right, harmonium playing.
I've been hearing this voice from the spirit world for a long time, and I did it the first time, and I've been dragging my feet to do it the second time, but I have heard the one voice again, and it said to me nobly, it's time for you to build another house.
All right, building the house. Come on up, I'm telling you. Voicing the thing, it's deepening and widening.
So I followed the impulse to quit my job 6 months ago, which was ridiculous and frightening. And now I'm ready to work. And so I'm open to all possibilities.
Amen, amen.
I will start a prayer group here at the center.
Woohoo!
I'm a bit closer to figuring out the theme to that book I'm writing.
All right, Tadley. Who else? Brave souls, come on up.
I commit to showing up to heal with anyone I feel estranged from or uncomfortable with.
Amen, amen. Oh, that's a biggie.
Some of you know my daughter has colon cancer. She's in a huge Christian community. She has a meal train that will last the rest of the year. I want to create a meal train, and I also want a map of Albuquerque quadranted so we all know where everybody lives, so we can do rides if we need them. So if anybody has a map of Albuquerque, I would love to have it so I can start that.
Amen, amen. That sounds like a care crew action to me. Come on.
This morning, as I walked to the bus stop, I was thinking about my cars, how blessed I was. My first car was perfect. You can't lock yourself out and it fit my body. It was just a wonderful car. And I still think about that car and wonder what happened to it, because I had to leave it in Florida. Second car took good care of me too. And I think that is love in action, even though it's a car. When I needed blood transfusion, my car took me to my appointments and didn't break down until after I got both my transfusions and my blood level was back to normal. I think that's amazing that that car waited just for that. and now I'm ready to have my third car.
Amen, amen.
I'm looking for people who are selling a car because I'm ready to buy a new one. And with that car, I could be more used to society, to spread more love. I can spread love by doing deliveries because I love helping people. You know, I love doing things for people. Another love in action, I would offer you a free psychic reading because now I decided not to hide anymore. I bought this big thing and I put it on my neck. Now I'm more open because I want to serve humanity the way God intended me to do.
Amen, amen.
And
Thank
love
you,
and
KJ.
action should be how we treat people and how we respect them and to affirm them. To speak each other's love language. If you don't know your love language, I'll be happy to help you.
Thank you, KJ.
It's my love language. One of them,
All right, any other brave souls want to come up? Speak your action. Mickey in the house!
So the last time I spoke to this community about, a dream we had, the RV full-time travel situation, we made it happen. So I figure this one thing keeps coming back, so I'm going to speak it to the community again, and it is to write the stories that keep popping up in my head and just put them down and get them out into the world. So,
Amen. All right. Anybody else? I'm watching to see if anybody has this happening. Do you want to speak, Fran? All right. I want to share with you a question I received recently from a community member. Amani, I want to know, do the principles of the ABQCSL work for anybody? It looks like people are depending on Sundays for an hour of happiness, which is good that you're able to uplift us all. But I want to see the center's principles bringing people happiness outside of Sunday. I'm curious. And I thought, well, that doesn't just sum up the whole practical spirituality series. Because that is the ultimate question, is it not? Do these principles work for everybody? And do they work for more than an hour on Sunday? But what I know for sure is that discernment and that relationship and that acceptance of your divine nature is how these principles work more than an hour on Sunday. And that the process we went through today, the simple process of listening and saying yes and declaring and taking action, this is all we need for spiritual living. And so I know that every single declaration made, whether just in your own heart today, is already in action. And anchor this with me in prayer. Oh, Holy Blessed One, that has gifted each of us with this thing called life, with this sacred breath, with this absolute presence and power and capacity and intellect that is moving right now in every being in this space, every being that is with us right now on the stream, and is moving through every piece of life, whether we know it or see it or understand it or not. And I know that this presence and this power and this capacity for greater love, for greater wisdom, for greater joy, for greater peace has already moved in us, has already moved in our minds, in our hearts, in our bodies, moving us into that great divine idea that can only find its way into this manifest reality through our lives. And because we've each said a holy yes, because we've each said yes to spiritual living, because we've each said yes to love and action, I know that the one is in fantastic motion right here, right now. I know that the good is revealing itself through each and every one of us, through each and every one of you, making all the difference, bringing all the joy, bringing all the love, and it is already happening. There is no other possibility except that the one is living as each one of us. And because we can rest in that, because we can delight in that, we can be empowered to move, to act, to say yes. So I just glory with deep gratitude in how fantastic the outpouring of this love is going to be. Good and very good. I let it be and anchor it with me in prayer. And so it is. Thank you, everybody. I want to encourage everyone who can to make a contribution today. We have many ways that you can support the work of the center. You can text to give at 505-847-843. You can do cash or check in the envelopes right behind me on the table. And you can go to our website, abqcsl.org, and make a donation. Every penny counts. Every donation is the thing that not only makes this beautiful hour on Sunday happen, but this incredible community and all of the divine ideas that have been set in motion through you. We get to fund that, and that's awesome. So thank you for all of your contributions. I want to bring Jeffrey McNutt up to the stage to make some announcements.
Hello. So if you have not noticed in your email, I've sent out a survey, and survey results are starting to come in. I would make a request that if you haven't filled out that survey, you find it in your email and do so. It's providing some wonderful information about who is out in our community that might need some extra support and extra care throughout this holiday season. If you know that you have not received it, see me after service and I will add you to that, to our mailing list so that you make sure that you get a survey. And I'll be following up all of the next probably 2 weeks with all of the responses that require follow-up to that survey. Part of it is an invitation to join the care crew. And the care crew is, we're going to kick off what I'm calling the holiday community care drive. And this care crew is going to come together in the month of November to put together care packages and prayer wreaths and food boxes. And then in December, we're going to split up into teams and drive these around to people in need within the community. Really what I need to know is who's out there in your life that you think could benefit from this level of care. And then going forward, we are going to have a permanent care team that is going to manage these types of requests in perpetuity so that we really take our love and action out into the community and make a difference in the lives of, I think of Pushkara all week, that, he can use a visit right now. And maybe it's not forever, but for that period of time that we all go through things like this, we will have a team that will respond to that. How are your visits going, Franny? Pretty lovely, right? So please let me know if you need a survey. And then starting next week, we're going to have open houses after the service, and we'll start putting together these packages and wreaths as we go along. So you'll be able to just stay after and contribute in that way too. So we're pretty excited about that. So thank you very much. Did you want to talk about the town hall?
Yeah, I will. All right, so thank you, everybody. And just to reiterate what Jeff said is, if you know that you or someone in your life could use some care, make sure and fill out that survey. And if you want to participate in creating the care crew and donating items that we may see that there's a need for, donating your time, the work parties and open houses will begin next Sunday, November 7th, following our gatherings. And I'm excited because one of the first things we're going to do is clear space in the back of this building to receive donations and care items. Woo-hoo! I'm very excited about that. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, there's so much going on around here. And we're going to be introducing some of these ideas more over the next few weeks. One of them is that we have a new campus mate that is sharing campus and space with us. The Menara Muslim Community Center is now using the space along with us officially. We signed agreements this last week, and it's really exciting. So Imam Abdur Rauf, who is their spiritual leader, will be with us also next Sunday, so we can begin to get to know each other as community. You'll get to hear more ways that you can participate with some of the things they're doing. They've got judo classes. They do a feeding for folks on the streets every week on Wednesday or Thursday evening. So there's lots of ways we can begin to participate with one another, and we'll learn more about that next week. There are many, many things unfolding around the use of our campus in general, one of which I'm really excited about is the campus use vision, which you can see the map over here at the back of our building, is coming into fruition. Prayers are being answered, and the possibility for us to be a greater force for love and action in our local Albuquerque community is unfolding. And one of the ways that that is unfolding is we are bringing to the community the vote to sell the west parking lot. We are able to sell part of our parking lot to help fund this campus vision, and you can learn more about that in our town hall coming up on November 21st at 12 o'clock. It is a virtual town hall. So we're going to do it at noon. So for those of you who may be in person, you have time to get home and get on your device or however we end up doing that. But it'll be a virtual town hall at noon on November 21st. And the main vote will be whether or not to list the west part of our parking lot for sale. And if you have questions about that or want to learn more, there's a couple ways you can do that. If you do not already receive our governance newsletter, which typically goes out once a month, but will be a little more active over the next several weeks, you need to sign up for that. That's where all the details will be going out. And you can talk to a council member. And I think today's official council member who's here to answer questions is our treasurer, Cliff Wintrode. You want to stand for us, Cliff? This is your guy. He is happy to answer questions following our gathering. And you will also have an opportunity through that governance e-newsletter. We'll be sending out an extra governance newsletter this week with more details, even cuter graphics about what the campus use could look like, and an opportunity in that newsletter. You can submit a question through that newsletter, and we will be collecting all those questions so that in the town hall on the 21st we can make sure and get them all answered. All right? We are going to have music next Sunday. We're going to have a whole musical service. Yes, Melissa and Z are here next Sunday. We are going to do an entirely musical service with a little sermonizing thrown in. I'm really excited, so please be here and join us for that. Thanks for the question, Molly. All right, anything else? All right, let's have our prayer lead come on up, Dino, and pray us out.
Thank you so much, Amani. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful group of people. Thank you for holding our community in prayer, manifesting this beautiful day. My name is Dino. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. You can imagine what it was like taking classes with Amani for 2 years. We really got plugged in. We're still plugged in. We'd like to plug you in with prayer. We have a group of practitioners here that are available for prayer. Would you be so kind to stand at this time? Look at that lovely group. Thank you so much. If you are in need of prayer to know the truth of who you are, we do 1-minute miracles after service. If you'd like to meet up with one of our practitioners, we will pray with you. You can also log on to prayer at ABQ CSL and leave your prayer there for us. The practitioners and ministers of the center will hold you in prayer for the week. Or you can use one of our prayer cards in the back and place it in the black box, and we will pray for you also. If you'd like to take a moment to pray us out today with me, if you'd like to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable. Welcome home. Welcome to this sacred space within that we call home, where Spirit resides, where God resides, where the beauty of love resides. Welcome home to all of you here today. This special place is always here, always available. Calm, serene, capable. We invite all our family and friends to this place, everyone we love, and everyone in which we have discord with. We invite them into this sacred place. we offer love as a meal. As we go out today into our communities, let us remember this place, this sacred place, and let us offer goodness to everyone we meet. And so it is.
So it is. All right, blessings, beloveds. Mwah.
Church is a little too early for me.